Hi there, welcome to a video that is a continuation of our upper body strength series. It's another arm balance and this one is called Bhujapidasana, and Bhuja means arm and pida means press or squeeze or pressure, and then asana means pose, so it's arm pressure pose. And it needs quite a bit of hip opening, but not just external, it needs internal hip opening as well. Upper body strength obviously, because you're going to be balancing on your hands, and quite a bit of core work as well. So we're going to start being still, being a bit more relaxed before we begin. So we're going to open up the hips a little bit and open up the arms a little bit. So you're going to take your arms over the crown of your head, hold opposite elbows so the back of your head is on the floor, and just let yourself settle into this shape. Begin to find your breath. So you've carved out this space in your day or your evening to do your practice. And we're going to create that space internally as well so that you can move into that space. So that you can shed and get rid of any excesses in any shape or form, whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually even. And then you can stay here, or you can go a little bit deeper. Just get my bottle out of the way and just walk your hands a little bit further down so that you're actually lying on you're holding your shoulders with your hands, and you're lying on your forearms rather than with the back of your head on the floor. And then just take a few more breaths there. And then release. And you're just going to take your arms the other way. So holding on to the other elbow. And I'm just going to cross my ankles. So just notice which ankle you've got in front, or which foot you've got in front. So this is the shape of your legs when you're in this pose of Bhujapidasana. And then I'm going to switch the cross of my ankles. And I'm going to walk my hands, I have to get my bottle out of the way, and bring my hands down towards my shoulders more. And let my legs fall out. And then from here, I'm going to keep the cross of my legs and just draw my knees in, and I'm going to kind of hook my feet around one another. And then from here, I'm going to just bring my palms together, cross my thumbs, take a big breath there, a little bit of core work, that's it. So I'm going to pull through. So I'm reaching. So I'm going to do 10. You can do more. And then from here, I'm going to keep my arms lifted. Can keep pulling the feet. Now I'm just going to lift my hips for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then from here I'm going to lift both. So big breath in and exhale. Reach, reach. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And release. And then from here, I'm just going to rock up. And I'm going to come onto all fours with my toes untucked. So coming down onto your third knuckle and then onto the heel of your hand. And just have a little rock side to side. I'm going to bring my knees together in a moment, but just rocking side to side. Just bringing some mobility into your wrists. And then turning your fingers in. And from here, just a few little cat and cows. So inhaling, lifting your sit bones, lifting your chest, your gaze. Exhale, push the floor away, rounding in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then I'm just going to rock forwards and back. Just stretching out my fingers into the third knuckle. And then I shake my hands out. And then from here, I'm going to bring my knees together and I'm going to bend my elbows. I'm going to bend my elbows and then I'm going to pick up my knees. And so my knees are hovering and I'm going to tuck my toes under. And then from here, I'm just going to bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So in the pose, your hands are actually behind you, but they need to be bent as you get into the pose. And then as you get more practice at the pose, your arms start to straighten more. So this kind of movement, developing that strength there, is really important. So from here, you're going to come up to your downward facing dog, and we're going to need to warm up the hamstrings a lot as well. So from here, you're going to come onto the toes of your right foot, and you're going to inhale, come forwards, so it becomes like a plank pose on one side, on this left side, and then I've got my right knee down. So this is my inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to stay like that with my legs. So I'm going to stretch the top of this right foot and the front of my shin, and then I'm going to stretch the back of my left calf. Inhale, come forwards, exhale back. One more, inhale forwards, exhale back. And then from here, I'm going to inhale, lift my right, just put my glasses on. The sight's definitely getting worse. Ah, yes. So lift this right leg up, and as I exhale, lift my left heel, bring my right knee up towards my right armpit, and then inhale, lower, exhale, pull it up. Inhale, lower, exhale up. 2 more. Inhale, lower, exhale up. Inhale, lower, exhale up. Inhale, roll that hip up, back, open the hip up, and then as I exhale, I'm going to bring my right knee in and step my right foot to the outside of my right hand. And then from here, lower the left knee down, and I'm going to start to nestle down, and I'm going to really hug my right shoulder with this right arm. So this is the arm pressure bit. So you're using your legs in the pose to squeeze your arms, and that helps to round your spine as well. So you can stay here, or you can come lower and again from here hug. So you're going to try and hug that knee in towards the arm, hugging it in. And then walking your hands back up. From here, just walk your right foot in a little bit and come up and straighten that right leg. So inhale. So it's a modified Parsvottanasana. So you're squaring off your hips, but my left heel is lifted. So I'm going to inhale here and then exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. 2 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. So I could have lifted onto my heel, but I want to stretch the front of the leg as well a little bit. So I'm going to turn this right heel, right toes out, and step my left foot forwards and squat down into Malasana. So this is the shape of the legs when you come into the pose, but your arms will be behind your legs. That sounds weird at the moment. Okay, and then I'm going to keep my chest lifted and bring my fingertips to the floor. So this will be my exhale. So I'm going to inhale, I'm just going to swivel on the balls of my feet to bring my feet parallel. And this will be my inhale, and then I'm going to swivel again and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, squatting down, pushing my elbows into my legs. Inhale and exhale. One more. I'm going to pause here and I'm going to hold the backs of my ankles and I'm going to push down through my feet and I'm going to pull as if I'm trying to lift my feet off the floor so that I can engage the back of the front of my legs to open up the front. I can rock myself forwards. I can really lengthen through my spine, and then as I exhale I'm going to draw so that my forearms are coming towards the back of my calves to pull me in. And then heels in, squat down, and then from here I'm going to come all the way up to stand and exhale, squat back down, all the way up, exhale down, just one more, all the way up, exhale down, all the way up, turn my feet, exhale, hands to my heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, exhale, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, step back, plank pose, okay? So, plank pose, so not forgetting our chaturanga that we've been doing. So, keep the legs really active. Inhale, come forwards, halfway down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, so from here I'm going to come onto the top of my left foot. I'm going to lower this left knee down and set up so that I'm like back in plank on the right side. So this will be my inhale, and then as I exhale my feet stay the same as a stretch back into downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, press back. One more. Inhale, exhale, press back, and then come back to my downward facing dog. And then I'm going to inhale, lift my left leg up, and as I exhale I'm going to pick up my right heel, push the floor away, bring my left knee towards the back of my left arm, inhale down to the wrist, exhale back up. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. 1 more. Inhale, exhale. Sweep that leg up and back. Open up the hip, big breath in. And then as you exhale, step your left foot to the outside. of your left hand. Lower your right knee down. And then from here, bend your elbows and hug your left upper arm with your left leg. So it's this bent elbow position again, hugging your elbows in. And then if you've got the mobility to lower down, and then from here I'm going to use this left leg and hug into my left shoulder. So even if it's not pressing really hard into it, like mine isn't pressing really hard, but I can feel the engagement of the muscles that I'm going to need to make that movement when I need it. And then from here, I'm going to walk back up and I'm going to lift this back knee and I'm going to straighten both legs. So I'm up on the back toes still. Inhale, squaring off my hips. Exhale, fold. Big, big stretch in this left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, waving down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, wave down. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, wave down. And then from here, turn my left toes back out. I'm going to come back up and into my asana. So from here, I'm going to inhale here. I'm going to exhale, straighten my legs, turn in. And then from here, I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to wrap this right hand around and see if I can find the back of my shin or my ankle. And then I'm going to wrap this other arm around and see if I can do the same. And then I'm going to start to nestle myself in as though I could pull myself all the way through. And then from here, straighten off my knees, my feet. Inhale, exhale, folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, plank pose. And then in your plank pose, you're going to really fire up your legs, fire up your core. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So from here, a little bit more dynamic, heated stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my knees, and as I inhale, I'm going to jump into Malasana, and as I exhale, I'm going to jump back to downward facing dog. So 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then from here, just come down onto your knees, just have a little rest, just come off your wrists for a moment, but take a really wide child's pose, so you keep that hip opening going, and just take a few breaths there. And from here, you're going to come back up and you're going to find your down facing dog again. And then from here, you're going to inhale, lift your right leg up. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your right knee to the outside of your right tricep. And then from here, you're going to inhale to upward facing dog and exhale to plank pose with that leg. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, sweep that right leg up and back. Exhale, step your right foot through. So I'm just going to turn around just for the view. And then from here, I'm going to walk my hands over to the left. I'm going to spin my left foot down, so I've got like a warrior one foot pattern, and then walk my hands out to the side, wrap this right sit bone under, drop into my hip as much as I can, and then I'm kind of pushing my hands forwards, rolling this right sit bone underneath, pushing into the outside edge of my left foot, so it's down dog lunge. And then from here, I'm going to keep walking my hands, slightly changing the position of my feet, so they're very slightly turned out. And then I'm going to move into Skandasana. So I'm moving side to side, trying to keep my heel of the bent leg down, keep my hips back, and you can lift your heel, not your heel, you're onto your heel, or like what I was doing in the previous hamstring stretch, you can keep the foot down, and then you get not just the back, but you get a bit of a stretch in the front of the leg as well, which I think is useful. Just one more to each side. And then I'm going to turn back over this right leg, and I'm going to step my left foot forwards. So I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider, bend my knees, and just like I did before, I'm going to thread this right arm underneath, and I'm going to find a bind. So I'm going to take that left arm back and find my right fingertips, and then from here I'm going to start to straighten both legs. So it's like a twist and a forward fold, but it's really for the hamstrings, this part. And then from here, I'm going to release. I'm going to come into my Malasana again and take my right hand out and lift my left arm up. I'm going to step back, keeping this right foot forwards, and come back into like my lizard pose, but I'm going to keep my left knee lifted, and I'm going to take my right hand behind and bring it to the outside, or hold on to the back of this right ankle, and I'm going to nestle myself as deep as I can, and then I'm going to start to push my chest forwards, and I'm going to hug my right leg into my right arm, and then release. Plank pose. Inhale, coming forwards. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So I'm just going to walk myself around so that I'm facing the right side for you guys. And then inhale, I'm going to reach that left leg, up and back, opening up my hip, and then squaring off the hip, and then coming into like a plank pose and bringing this left knee up towards the left tricep, and then back, upward facing dog modification. Exhale, plank pose with that knee lifted. Inhale and exhale. Two more. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale, sweep that left leg up and back. And then exhale, left foot steps forwards. And again, pivot on the right foot this time. Hug your left sit bone underneath. Walk your hands across at an angle to the right. Really push into this back foot. Wrap your sit bone underneath and push with your hands. So it's like down dog. You're pushing forwards, pressing your hips back, but then I'm trying to roll this left hip under. And then from here, keep going, turning your feet, slightly different angle, and then back to your Skandasana. And if you want to pick up so that you're still low, but it's a bit more work in the legs to shift you from side to side. And then next time you come over your left leg, I'm going to turn back to the front and step both feet forwards. Hip width or a little bit wider, bending at the knees, wrapping this left hand around so that I'm nestling in, finding the back of that ankle, using that to get me in deeper, and then I'm going to wrap that arm around and then find those fingers with my right hand, and now stretching both legs straight. So big stretch for this left, the hamstrings on this left side, but also into the shoulder. So really opening up through the shoulder. And then I'm going to release, turn my toes out. I'm going to sit back down into my asana, bring my left hand in front, or my left arm in front of my shin, and reach my right arm up. And then I'm going to step back with my right foot this time. And instead of lowering that right knee down, I'm going to keep it lifted. And then I'm going to nestle using this hand, the back of my calf. I'm going to nestle underneath, keep holding onto that calf. And then I'm going to push back through this right heel and forwards through my left shin, and then push and hug my arm and my leg into one another. And then release. Inhale, plank pose. Come forwards. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So just take a few breaths in your downward facing dog. And then I'm going to separate my feet and I'm going to walk back, and I'm going to do that same thing again. So I'm going to bend my knees, wrap one hand behind the ankle, bring the shoulder underneath, and then same thing on this other side, wrapping myself underneath, pulling myself in, maybe even straightening my legs a little bit, and really trying to walk myself and pull myself through. And then release and walking back out to downward facing dog. And then from here, similar to when we stepped back we jumped from down dog to malasana, I'm just going to jump and take my hands to the back of my wrists. So I'm going to jump forwards and jump back. 3 more. Jump forwards, jump back. 2 more. Jump forwards and hop back. 1 more. Forwards and hop back. So from here, I'm going to bring my knees down and cross the ankles and just roll over. So from here, I'm going to grab my bricks and take them either side of my hips. So from here, I've got my ankles crossed, doesn't matter which way round, taking the bricks back, and then from here, I'm going to pull my feet in so that I'm sort of on my tiptoes, and then big breath in, and as I exhale, I'm rounding my spine, and then I'm going to hover my feet and I'm rounding and lower it down. Okay, so change the cross of their ankles. I'm going to take the bricks a little bit further back, and then I'm really trying to round. So inhale here, and I'm trying to round in, and I'm leaning forwards, keep rounding, and then lifting the feet and lowering back down. So from here, we're gonna have a little go at this pose. So you can have bricks behind you, and I'll show you how to use the bricks in a moment. But from here, you take your feet nice and wide, bend your knees and you're going to reach your hands back and nestle your way through, just like I did before. And then you're going to bring your fingertips down behind your heels, third knuckles down, and then from here I'm going to start to come back and sit on my arms. And then I'm going to wriggle my feet in. I like to cross my ankles when I'm down here. And then I'm going to start to really squeeze with my legs. And then I'm going to pull my tailbone and my heels towards one another, so that I'm hovering my feet over the floor. And then release and come out. And you may well fall backwards the other way. So just have a little rest. And then we'll have another little go. And the other thing that you can do, I'll show you this one as well, this version as well. Might be better that way. Is to have the bricks there to give you that little bit of extra height. So you're rolling everything underneath and then bringing your hands onto the bricks, yeah? And then sitting back. Okay, and then from here you've got more height to bring your feet in, and then you're squeezing with your legs, yeah, lifting your chest, and now rounding your spine, squeezing, pulling your heels up towards your tailbone, and release. So don't be put off if it takes you many times with this practice to work your way through those stages of, working into the hamstrings and working into your malasana and, really strengthening up your wrists. But as a counter pose, I'm going to take Bhujapidasana. So you're going to take one hand under each foot, pressing down into, so your toes are pressing down into your wrists. You're just dropping your head down. You can maybe bend your knees if you had enough of the hamstring stuff. And then slowly release. From here, you're just going to squat down. And I'm just going to do, actually, I'm going to come onto your knees. So from there, you can just lower your knees down rather than squat all the way down to a seat. And we're just going to start to do some little back bends, yeah, but very gently. So from here, holding onto one heel, you're going to sweep the opposite arm around and then back this way. And then you can start to pick up your hips, really squeeze. So we want to engage those hamstrings now instead of stretching them. You're going to come around. So as you lift up, you squeeze your hamstrings, squeeze around your sit bones to press your pelvis forwards. So we're taking the body into almost the opposite of what it was doing in Bhujapidasana in sort of every way that we can. And then if you want to come into your full Ustrasana, dropping your head back. And then coming up. And from here, you're going to untuck your toes and either sit between your heels, and if you need a brick, taking a brick, you're on the tops of your feet, and then placing your right hand on top of your left. So that's stage one of your counter pose. If you want to, try first keeping the brick, but just walking your hands back and lifting your chest and just stretching out your shoulders a little bit. So the shoulders are very kind of, you're trying to lift them back when you're in Bhujapidasana, but they are very much pushed in because you're hugging your legs in. Or if you can sit, you have your seat all the way down without your bricks, you can sit here exactly the same. Or if you want to go further back, so into Bhujapidasana, you can start to come back and you can stay on your elbows for a while and just see how that feels. If you've no neck issues, you can maybe come a little bit lower and keep a little bit of weight in your elbows and just come on to the top of your head. Or you can lower all the way down. And maybe even, like we did at the beginning, maybe even, just get hair out of the way, walking your hands down towards your shoulders and be here. So any of those versions, and just really stretch out the fronts of the legs that have been working so hard to contract and help you to open the back of your legs for all of your hamstring opening. And then just making your way out the same way that you went in, so plenty of support as you come back out. And then out. And from here you can come straight into Shavasana, or if you've any inversions in your practice, like plough pose, asana, or shoulder stand, Shavasana, you can come into any of those. So you'll just roll yourself back and just keep your chin lifted a little bit in this. If you have any neck issues, upper back stuff, not really the best pose. You know, you better either taking a forward fold, so same as this but the other way up, or just coming into your Shavasana. So shoulder stand, just going to support your lower back, come up into your shoulder stand maybe. We're taking, more time if you need to here. We're only coming into Shavasana now, so if you want to spend more time in an inversion, then you can do that. And then you're going to slowly roll out. And you can just come into Shavasana with your knees bent for a moment, maybe even dropping your knees from side to side. So we did the odd twist whilst we were doing sort of other poses in the practice, but not really any big twists. So you can always pause here, maybe stay with your legs on one side, taking that foot over, and then switching, drop your knees the other side, other foot goes on top. And that's another really nice stretch for the front of your thighs as well. There's a twist. And then come back. And I'm just going to move. Set yourself up for your Shavasana. Savouring the stillness, the quiet. yourself to absorb everything that you can feel. To keep that space in your mind. And let yourself just drop. Stay as long as you can. And when you're ready to come out, big stretch. Bring your knees in and roll to your side. Couple of breaths there. And then press yourself back to a seat. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide. That is definitely not an easy pose. It's not going to happen straight away. And don't be put off. You know, use the bricks for a while. You know, if you fall backwards, you fall backwards. You've not got far to go. It'll be fine. But in time, you will develop that strength and you'll be able to come into your Bhujapidasana. So I shall see you on the next video. Namaste.